The most beautiful girl in the entire school falls in love with the unluckiest guy in the world. Izumi is just an average guy like you and me. As he gets ready for his first day of school, his mother warns him to be careful, and we soon see why. Within 7 seconds of leaving the house, he trips, messes up his hair, narrowly avoids bird droppings, and falls down. Despite his terrible luck, he has something that brightens his life, his girlfriend Shikimori. Yes, even this unlucky guy has a girlfriend. Shikimori is the most popular girl in school. Beautiful, intelligent, strong, basically perfect. Sometimes Izumi feels insecure, doubting whether someone like him should be with her, especially given his bad luck. But she reassures him, telling him not to think that way and that she'll always be there to protect him. When they arrive at school and see which class they're in, both of them are lucky enough to be in the same class, along with their best friends Inuzuka and Nekozaki. During introductions, Izumi's bad luck strikes again as he stumbles over his words. Minutes later, while a girl erases the board, the eraser slips and heads straight for Izumi's head. As always, Shikimori is there to save him. However, Izumi isn't foolish. He activates his charm, causing the girl to blush and becomes so flustered that she leaves. But while the girl is gone, a group of guys approaches Izumi and comments on how beautiful his girlfriend is, wondering how a guy like him could get someone like her. Little do they know, Shikimori is listening. When she enters the room, she takes Izumi's hand and shows the guys a bit of her power. As they leave, she tells him not to pay attention to others' comments, but Izumi fears that something bad might happen to her because of his bad luck. Later, the group of friends decides to go bowling. Shikimori's friends tell her it's the perfect opportunity to get closer to her boyfriend. They suggest she pretends to be bad at bowling so he'll help her, but it's Izumi who needs the help. When it's Shikimori's turn, she's about to follow her friend's advice, but Izumi encourages her, and that's enough for her to forget everything and start scoring point after point, even drawing everyone's attention. When they finish, Izumi suggests that the loser should treat the winner, and Shikimori asks him to accompany her home as her prize. On the way, Izumi tells her again that she's beautiful and good at everything, while he feels he's just good for nothing. She then tells him not to listen to others' comments. She loves him just the way he is and always will be. The next day, there's a mini soccer tournament. This is a big chance for Izumi to get injured, but he's encouraged because Shikimori will be playing even against the best in the school. Izumi plans to help her by cheering her on, something Shikimori really likes. Though Izumi has bad luck, he knows how to be charming. During the game, Izumi doesn't do too badly. His luck isn't awful, at least for a while. But after getting hit on the head, he heads to the nurse's office. He's not alone, though. His girlfriend goes with him. She tells him to be careful when he plays, but Izumi insists he should go back to her game. Shikimori has different plans. She tells him she wants to hide inside his blanket with him, which surprises Izumi. When they leave the infirmary, Shikimori's face is as red as a tomato. At the girls' game, they meet Shikimori's rival, Kamiya. Kamiya is just as talented as Shikimori and shows it. When the game starts, Kamiya dominates everyone, even Shikimori. But things change when Izumi's support arrives. Seeing his girlfriend's team losing, Izumi, though embarrassed, shouts words of encouragement. This fires up all the girls, not just Shikimori, and they start scoring points. In the end, Shikimori and her team secure the victory. Interestingly, Kamiya seems to know Izumi. After the game, everyone is thrilled about winning, but Shikimori is happiest because Izumi came to support her. However, things get complicated the next day. Since the girls won the game, they become like idols in the school. All the students want photos and autographs from them. Even though Shikimori wants to spend time with Izumi, she can't because of the other girls. Additionally, now that his girlfriend is more famous, Izumi's insecurities are triggered. His friend Inuzuka tells him to stop being insecure and appreciate the amazing girlfriend he has. It's a good message, but as they're talking, Izumi's bad luck strikes again. A ball comes flying through the window, and like a good friend, Inuzuka sacrifices himself to protect Izumi. This worries Izumi, but it also makes Shikimori a little jealous. At the end of the day, the boys head to their separate homes. Izumi, deep in thought, nearly falls down the stairs. Just in time, his heroine arrives and catches him. She tells him that if he plans to leave, he needs her permission. She also mentions she's jealous he's been spending more time with Inuzuka. Izumi reassures her that it's not true and promises he won't leave without her. He explains that he planned to wait for her at the school gate because all he wants is to spend more time with her. As they talk, Shikimori's presence makes Izumi feel safer despite his usual bad luck. They talk about the day's events and how Shikimori's newfound fame is affecting their time together. Shikimori admits that she enjoys the attention but values her time with Izumi more. She tells him she appreciates his support and understanding. The next day, Inuzuka gives Izumi some movie tickets he got from work, but since he can't use them, he suggests Izumi take someone else. Someone who's been listening eagerly agrees when Izumi mentions it to her. On the day of the date, Izumi is very excited, but his excitement fades when he remembers that things haven't gone well on previous outings with Shikimori, like when it rained or he lost his wallet with all his money. However, he hopes this time will be different. Izumi packs everything just in case, though his backpack breaks because of all the things inside. When the day of the date arrives, Izumi is full of energy, especially when he sees his girlfriend. At the cinema, Izumi isn't sure which movie his girlfriend will choose, but she tells him to decide. For the first time, Izumi gathers the courage to tell Shikimori that she should choose this time to see the movie she likes the most. The problem is that she chooses a horror movie, but Izumi decides it's time to be strong in a relationship. However, once the movie starts, Izumi almost faints from fear, but it's okay because his girlfriend is there to support him. Leaving the cinema, Izumi suggests getting food, but high prices due to inflation in the anime world pose a challenge. Fortunately, he has enough money, if only he hadn't lost his wallet, which was tied to his pants with tape that broke. Disappointed, they head home, where they unexpectedly encounter Izumi's parents. Hearing about the lost wallet, they kindly invite Shikimori to dinner, which makes her happy but nervous. However, she impresses Izumi's parents, showing them that their son not only has a girlfriend but also someone who looks out for him like a bodyguard. Dinner goes smoothly, and afterwards, Shikimori admits to Izumi that she was super nervous meeting the parents of the love of her life. Later, Izumi falls asleep and Shikimori offers to do the dishes. During their conversation, Izumi's mom expresses her gratitude to Shikimori for always taking care of her son. She also shares her concerns about Izumi always getting hurt since childhood, asking Shikimori not to leave him if she ever gets tired of him. Shikimori responds confidently, assuring her that she loves Izumi precisely because of his resilience through pain. She admires how he always wears a smile despite his hardships and considers him the man of her life. Moved by Shikimori's words, Izumi wakes up and offers to walk her home, prompting his mother to realize that her son has matured beyond his years. Summer has arrived, bringing with it the scorching heat of global warming. However, Shikimori is unfazed by the rising temperatures. As they begin to plan their summer activities, they recall that the beach is not a favorable option for Izumi, as it causes discomfort for him. Taking this into consideration, they decide it's best to head to a river instead, ensuring that everyone can enjoy themselves. Upon arriving at the mall, the boys realize they have some free time and decide to shop for river essentials. Shikimori asks Izumi if he plans to buy a swimsuit, but he declines, uncertain about how swimming might affect him. This disappoints Shikimori, who was eager to see him in a swimsuit. Consequently, she also decides against purchasing one, knowing that Izumi won't be joining them in the water. However, her decision changes when she notices Izumi's interest in a swimsuit worn by a model on a poster. Thinking that Izumi likes it, she rushes to buy it, unaware that Izumi was simply intrigued by the muscular physique of the model. In the store, Shikimori eventually finds the swimsuit she was looking for, determined not to lose to Nick, who playfully teases her about her competitiveness. Let's rewind the past when the girls first became friends. Shikimori had always possessed a magnetic charm that drew everyone to her, including Nekozaki. Nekozaki felt an instant attraction towards Shikimori, seeing her as the perfect companion. Determined to befriend her, Nekozaki made efforts, even during basketball games despite being rivals. Shikimori, sensing Nekozaki's sincerity, gave her best performance, even defeating Nekozaki. Despite Nekozaki's feelings for Shikimori, she respected that Shikimori was Izumi's girlfriend and settled for being just friends. In the present, when the girls reunite with the guys, Izumi, though not always perceptive, notices a change in Shikimori's expression, hinting that she has bought something. This surprises Nekozaki, who wonders how Izumi could be so observant. The next day, Izumi finds himself troubled because his pens didn't work during the exam. Thankfully, his teacher lent him one, saving him from failing. Worried about the importance of exams, Izumi struggles to sleep. At that moment, Shikimori calls him, understanding his exam nerves. However, she admits she also called because she wanted to hear his voice. Izumi shares with Shikimori his fondness for stargazing, expressing how it makes him feel connected to her. Shikimori, in return, acknowledges Izumi's love for the stars, and he reveals how his attempts to stargaze with his father always ended in rain. Upon learning this, Shikimori promises to take him stargazing regardless of any obstacles. Moved by Shikimori's care, Izumi reflects on how she often prioritizes his well-being over her own. He recounts how they chose to go to the river instead of the beach, solely for his comfort. He desires for their outings to be a mutual decision, where everyone's preferences are considered. Furthermore, he longs to take Shikimori to a place she genuinely enjoys, but Shikimori reassures him that being with him is all she desires. It's her favorite place, and no other destination compares. It was finally the day of the river trip, and everyone was ready and excited. The highlight of the day was preparing the barbecue. Inuzaka started chopping the onions, but it was clear he had no skill for it. Things took a turn for the worse when Izumi grabbed the knife. Everyone braced for disaster, but to their surprise, Izumi was an expert. He explained that he had helped his parents cook since he was a child, so he had plenty of experience. Now that the tasks were divided, some people worked on the meat while others chopped the vegetables. Shikimori wanted to prove to Izumi that she could cook too. She had taken cooking classes and was eager to show her skills. She prepared some delicious-looking garlic shrimp. Izumi's girlfriend, Shikimori, was perfect in his eyes. She was beautiful, intelligent, and supposedly a good cook. However, when Izumi tasted her shrimp, he nearly fainted, not because they were delicious, but because they were terrible. When Shikimori tried her creation, she realized that cooking might not be her strength. Despite the disaster, Izumi gathered his courage and took another bite, knowing Shikimori had put a lot of love into it. After the cooking mishap, everyone enjoyed the barbecue prepared by the others. Then it was time for desserts, which Izumi had made. Everyone was amazed by his desserts, especially Shikimori, who told him she would love to eat them every day. When it was time to swim, Izumi noticed that his girlfriend, Shikimori, was a bit nervous. She was embarrassed to show the new swimsuit she had bought. To cheer her up, Nekozaki called Shikimori to join them, but Izumi stayed behind for a while, admiring the scenery. While Izumi was enjoying the view, he noticed a little girl being carried downstream by the current. Without thinking, he jumped into the river to help her. At first, the girl was scared, but she calmed down when she realized Izumi was there to help. He managed to bring her to the shore and gave her his float. Just as he was about to climb out of the water, he got a cramp in his foot. The girl noticed something was wrong and screamed for help. The others quickly arrived, and Shikimori jumped in to save him. Izumi thought it was the end for him, but his girlfriend arrived in time to rescue him. She quickly brought him to shore. When Izumi woke up, he thanked Shikimori, but she was upset because he could have asked for her help earlier. However, she was happy that he was safe. The little girl thanked Izumi for saving her with a kiss, which made Shikimori jealous. After all the excitement, it was time for everyone to have fun. While they watched the river fish, Izumi couldn't stop looking at Shikimori and told her she was very beautiful. Later, everyone went to town to buy some things. They saw an ice cream stand and decided to get some. While they were eating, Shikimori offered Izumi a taste of her ice cream in a curious way. Just as the moment was getting romantic, Inuzuka showed up and ruined it. The day came to an end and everyone went back home. Returning from the trip made everyone sleepy and Shikimori fell asleep on Izumi's shoulder. He tried to stay awake to let her rest, but he eventually fell asleep too. The trip to the river really wore Izumi out, making him sick and unable to spend time with Shikimori for a while. But then Izumi spots an ad on TV for the upcoming city festival, promising amazing fireworks. Suddenly, Izumi forgets all about feeling unwell and excitedly asks Shikimori to join him at the festival. On the big day, Izumi gets all dressed up, but his dad's yukata is way too big for him, making him feel small compared to his dad's huge size. Shikimori is not having an easy time either, never having been to a festival before and struggling to get her clothes right. Luckily, her handsome brother steps in to help her out. With everything sorted, the couple heads to the festival. Izumi loaded up with snacks and his money divided into 3 wallets to keep it safe. But when Shikimori arrives, Izumi can't take his eyes off her. She looks absolutely adorable. At the festival, Izumi excitedly offers Shikimori some cotton candy, only to find out she doesn't really like sweets. She prefers his desserts, but even Izumi finds the cotton candy too sweet this time. After that, Izumi is all set to impress his girlfriend by winning her a plushie. But things don't go as planned as Izumi fails to win anything. It's up to the real protagonist, Shikimori, to step in and show her skills. She manages to hit all the plushies, earning the one she wanted. Shikimori surprises everyone by giving the plushie her boyfriend, even impressing the vendor with her gesture. As they enjoy themselves, the others arrive, admiring Shikimori's beauty while the boys play around a bit. Suddenly, the girls notice that the fireworks are about to start and urge the couple to hurry up, rushing to find the best spot to watch the fireworks. Disaster strikes for Shikimori as her sandal breaks. She tries to walk barefoot for a bit, but it soon becomes too uncomfortable for her to continue. Shikimori starts to worry that they won't be able to see the fireworks, but Izumi has a plan. He encourages her to climb onto his back, explaining that they're heading to a secret spot his dad told him about, perfect for watching the fireworks. Despite Shikimori's concerns about Izumi exerting himself too much, he reassures her that everything will be alright. With determination, they set off towards the secret spot, ready to enjoy the fireworks together, no matter what hurdles come their way. This time, Izumi proves his strength by carrying Shikimori for a long while, even climbing several stairs without difficulty. When they reach the secret spot, they realize their efforts were worthwhile. Shikimori apologizes for any trouble she caused, not wanting Izumi to see her struggle. But Izumi reassures her, saying it's okay because they're in this together as boyfriend and girlfriend. He understands her dislike of being seen as weak, but appreciates that side of her too. With those comforting words, they both enjoy the moment. However, when it's time to descend the stairs, bad luck strikes. Luckily, Izumi's dad arrives just in time to rescue them. As it turns out, Izumi's parents were also there to watch the fireworks. In the end, despite the challenges, everything turns out well, and they all have a great time. The next day, you know what else can't be missing in a romance show? That's right, the school festival. Izumi's job is to be on the costume team, which he does well because he can sew. Meanwhile, Shikimori is on the set design team, but since she's not with Izumi, she gets a little jealous that he's around other girls. On the first day, everything starts off well because everyone is in costumes. Izumi feels embarrassed at first, but his embarrassment fades when he sees Shikimori dressed as a bunny. His class runs a cafe, but since Izumi isn't great at multitasking, he struggles to take everyone's orders, especially when someone drops a napkin. As usual, he slips, but his girlfriend saves him, though this time she tells him to be more careful and watch where he's walking because he's in front of everyone. At the end of the day, Izumi informs Shikimori that he has to manage the library the next afternoon due to a draw with the others, but he doesn't yet know who his partner will be. The next day, he goes to the library and finds Kamiya there. The girl is happy to see him while she's sorting books. Izumi tells Kamiya that she might prefer hanging out with her classmates instead of sorting books, but Kamiya tells him the opposite. She admits she likes being with her friends, but really enjoys quiet moments, especially when they're together. To understand how they met, let's go back a year. Just like this year, a year ago, Izumi and Kamiya were in the same activity. At first, Izumi was nervous because he didn't know Kamiya's personality, but as he got to know her, he realized she was really kind and understanding, which he liked a lot. He made sure to let Kamiya know this, which made her happy. Now in the present, Kamiya is a bit nervous and asks him why he's changed a bit. She thinks it's because he has a girlfriend now. At that moment, Kamiya's attitude changes as she gets closer to him and asks him why he became Shikimori's boyfriend, as if she were confessing to him. In Izumi's mind, he can only think that Kamiya is asking him this because she also likes Shikimori. But before we find out, let's see what Shikimori is up to. She's upset because in the school lottery, she didn't get the same number as Izumi. Let me explain. Last year at school, if a couple gets the same number in a lottery, they're allowed to take a picture together and were considered meant to be together. Shikimori really wants this to happen, so she's determined to swap numbers with whoever gets Izumi's number. Now talking about Izumi, he tells Kamiya that last year, he and Shikimori got the same number in the lottery. They both knew what it could mean, so they spent the whole day feeling really nervous about it. But when it was time to take the picture, Izumi couldn't find his number. However, he didn't give up. He pleaded with the school's president to let him take the picture with Shikimori, promising to do anything to make it happen. Seeing how determined he was, the president gave him a new number and said they could take the picture together. After they did, Izumi took Shikimori behind the school and confessed his love to her. She obviously said yes, and that's how their story began. Meanwhile, in Kamiya's mind, she imagines herself entering a castle where all her friends are waiting for her. But they're not waiting for just anyone, they're waiting for Prince Izumi. She sees him with love in her eyes because he's her ideal type and she is in love with him. Just as she's about to reach him, Kamiya enters and goes to him. Even though it's sad, Kamiya understands that no matter how much she loves Izumi, her love is not returned. Still, she's happy to see him happy and decides to move to the friend zone. After that, Kamiya and Izumi talk about the things they like, but they are interrupted by Shikimori. Shikimori is there to ask Kamiya for her number. Kamiya realizes that Shikimori is Izumi's girlfriend. Even though she hesitates for a moment, she decides to give her number to Shikimori. When Izumi comes out to see what's going on, he finds everyone there, but Shikimori manages to hide the number exchange. Kamiya tells him that there are only 10 minutes left before the library closes, so he can leave if he wants. But he tells her that he won't do that and will stay with her until the end, which makes her blush and surprises Kamiya. Kamiya stays in the library and sees that Izumi gets along very well with her. Upon seeing this, Kamiya knows that Kamiya likes Izumi. This whole situation is complicated for Kamiya, but she remains happy for Izumi and Kamiya. After finishing her turn at library duty, Kamiya and Izumi leave together, while Kamiya returns to her classroom where all her admirers are waiting for her. Like Shikimori, Kamiya is a celebrity at school. Everyone admires her, takes photos with her, and all the boys want to be her boyfriend. However, in Kamiya's mind, there is only one person, Izumi. She tries very hard to forget him, but she can't. To get some fresh air, she goes to the rooftop. Somehow, Shikimori knows she's there and they start talking. Shikimori tells Kamiya that she wants to return her number because she feels like she's cheating. Kamiya assures her that everyone exchanges numbers and it's nothing special. But Shikimori explains that her situation is different because she knows Kamiya likes Izumi. Kamiya thinks Shikimori will tell her to stay away from Izumi, but instead, Shikimori says she doesn't want any problems with Kamiya. She also knows that Izumi, the person Kamiya likes, isn't a bad person. So it's no wonder Kamiya fell for him. Kamiya asks if Shikimori is sure about what she's doing because it's giving her more hope. Kamiya also tells her that she doesn't want the number for herself. She knows that nothing can happen between her and Izumi, and she's not willing to confess her love. But as she says this, she can only remember the times they spent hours in the library and how she dressed up every day to look beautiful for him. The girl can't take it anymore and starts crying in front of Shikimori. Kamiya apologizes to Shikimori for not being able to hide her feelings, but Shikimori tears up the number and immediately hugs Kamiya. She tells her she appreciates how respectful she is, but hiding all her feelings will only hurt her. Shikimori says that if Izumi sees her like this, he will worry a lot. Hearing Shikimori's kind words and realizing what a great person she is, Kamiya feels more at ease. She tells Shikimori everything is okay, and that she should go to Izumi because he must be worried. In the end, Kamiya realizes that someone else has gotten her Prince Charming. Later, Izumi remembers that he has to give Shikimori the gift he bought for their anniversary and her birthday, which both happen on the same day. After the party with all their classmates, the couple goes to the park. Izumi gives Shikimori the gift he bought with great affection, a beautiful necklace. While he puts the necklace on her, he tells his girlfriend that no matter what happens, he'll always be by her side. Shikimori feels insecure and tells Izumi that everyone is starting to see what a great guy he is. While she likes this, it also scares her because she worries that many girls will like him and she's afraid of losing him. Izumi reassures her, saying she's wrong to think that way. He tells her he'll never leave her or trade her for another girl. She's his girlfriend and he'll always be in love with her. These words make Shikimori cry and she tells him that she won't let him go anywhere. The next day at school, Nekozaki greeted Inuzuka with the news that Izumi was out sick. However, Inuzuka mentioned that Izumi had already texted him asking for his notes. This made Shikimori jealous since Izumi hadn't said anything to her. Inuka grumbled that Shikimori acted like Inuzuka was trying to steal her boyfriend. Shikimori then asked if she could go with Inuzuka, but Nekozaki sent Hachimitsu to keep an eye on them. They walked into a grocery store where Shikimori asked Inuzuka to choose snacks for Izumi, presenting him with a choice between two types of candy. Afterward, Shikimori handed one bag to Inuzuka and told him the other was for Izumi. Just then, Hachimitsu appeared and after watching them, revealed her insight. She realized that Shikimori saw Inuzuka as an older brother due to her coldness toward her own brother, explaining why she craved his attention. Shikimori became embarrassed, confirming Hachimitsu's theory. Later, Shikimori and Nekozaki found Kamiya at the mall. Nekozaki doubted Kamiya would hang out with them, but Kamiya accepted and Nekozaki was impressed with how playful and friendly Kamiya was with Shikimori. They visited a pet shop and took photos around the mall. After playing some machine games, Shikimori won a bunch of trophies and gave them to Kamiya. Later, they ran into some girls at a basketball court and competed for the court. After they won, they all took a group picture. After Shikimori left, Nekozaki told Kamiya that she had always wanted to hang out with her because Kamiya always seemed in pain. She asked Kamiya who made her smile so much that day. Kamiya didn't answer but said she would tell Nekozaki someday. As they left, Nekozaki wished for Kamiya to keep smiling and discovering new feelings. The cultural festival ended with the announcement of a mixed relay race next. Izumi felt discouraged, believing his bad luck would hinder him, but he and Hachimitsu were selected for their class relay team. Shikimori traded positions to protect Izumi, and their friends completed the team. During training, Hachimitsu struggled with handoffs, but they stayed late to practice. At the athletic festival, their first event went poorly. However, Hachimitsu impressed everyone with her accurate ball tossing, securing second place despite her slowness and winning for their class. After the ball tossing competition, the relay race began. Nekozaki's speed quickly put her in the lead. Meanwhile, Shikimori cheered on Hachimitsu. When Nekozaki handed off the baton to Hachimitsu, she tried her best but tripped and fell due to overthinking. Ignoring her urge to win, Hachimitsu found the strength to stand and continue, motivated by the thought of her friends' smiles if they won. She passed the baton to Izumi, who had lost one of his shoes during the race. Unfazed, he discarded his remaining shoe and continued after receiving the baton. Shikimori then sprinted with determination, regaining the lost distance. When she handed off the baton to Inuka, the anchor, he managed to complete the comeback, leading their class to victory in the festival. Overjoyed, Hachimitsu expressed her gratitude to her team, proud to call them her friends and sharing how much fun she had. In a flashback, a young Izumi narrowly escaped being hit by a bicycle, starting his day in the nurse's office. The nurse advises him to rest and skip gym class for the day. Later, his friends invite him to join their group for an upcoming field trip. Plagued by thoughts of his continual bad luck, young Izumi hopes for the strength to bear all the pain and sorrow that comes his way, silently wishing for a hero to come to his rescue. In the present, Shikimori is shopping for clothes for a date with Izumi, accompanied by her brother. She struggles to decide what to buy. With the cultural festival and Izumi's silence, they haven't had the chance to go on an actual date, so they decide to visit an amusement park. At the park, Shikimori sees a group of girls trying to flirt with her brother and steps in to save him from the crowd. A flashback shows a younger Shikimori as a career prospect alongside her brother. One day at Shikimori's home, her brother tells her he is quitting karate. Her mother asks if she will quit too, noting that it's unusual for her to start something new on her own. Later, Shikimori protects some girls from bullies. On the way home, her brother advises her to be herself and find out who she wants to be rather than trying to emulate him or their mother. Later that day, Shikimori's friend showed her a romantic manga. After reading it, Shikimori's feminine side was unlocked and she decided to quit karate, become a cute girl, and will try to experience love. She explained that it had always been easier to follow her brother or mother because she didn't worry about her appearance. She just did what they told her, and that was enough. Shikimori began working out to lose weight and started going clothes shopping with her mother. On the day of her high school entrance exam, she saw Izumi for the first time. He had dropped his exam ticket, and the wind blew it into a tree. An adult nearby offered to get a ladder, but Shikimori didn't wait and retrieved the ticket herself. She thought she made a bad first impression by acting weird and ran off. On their first day of high school, Shikimori met Izumi again. He was glad to see her and expressed his joy. Izumi told her about his bad luck and the trouble it caused others. Shikimori was amazed by how comfortable Izumi was with her odd behavior. Back in the present, Shikimori was worried about her looks. She saw a cute lipstick that she thought would boost her confidence but decided not to buy it because of the price. The next day after choosing her outfit, her brother surprised Shikimori with the lipstick she wanted, so she left for her date feeling happy and confident. At the amusement park, Izumi meets Shikimori, who looks stylish in a coat borrowed from her mother. They start their date by visiting a gift shop where Shikimori dresses up as a vampire. Next, they enter a Sleeping Beauty-themed ride together. Izumi explains a fairy tale to Shikimori, but she clears the air by saying she likes stories with a bit of an edge. Izumi asks if she has any dreams. Shikimori reveals that in middle school, she read a romance manga that made her feel love and her dream was to experience it herself. She adds that her dream has already come true and she feels fulfilled in love. On the ride, Izumi realizes it moves slower than waiting for a reply from a crush and notices the aromatic fragrances and pretty music. As they near the end, Izumi falls asleep and Shikimori leans in to kiss him, but the ride ends before she can, and the ride supervisor interrupts them. They continue to have fun at the park, and as night falls, they head to a restaurant. Their table has been mistakenly given away, so they are given a spot at a high-end restaurant. Shikimori tells Izumi that when they are together, everything seems prettier, and she wonders how the world looks through his eyes. Their flirting continues, making both of them blush. After they leave, Shikimori remembers a commercial for the park featuring a couple kissing. She asks Izumi to do the same thing from the commercial. Instead, Izumi grabs her hand and describes scenes of parents holding their child's hand and an elderly couple holding hands. Later, he realizes what she really meant, and they board a gondola ride. Before they can take a picture, a power outage stops the gondola, leaving them stranded. They can only see each other using their phones. Izumi hopes the power will come back soon, but Shikimori mentions they have finally found time alone. She says it feels like a dream and that, just for this moment, there's nothing else to steal her attention. She adds that if she could have a dream like this, she wouldn't want to wake up. Izumi recalls her fear of him drifting away and kisses her on the cheek to reassure her, telling her he loves her and will always be with her. A delighted Shikimori holds him tightly as the lights come back on, exclaiming she's happier than in any dream. Back at school, Izumi feels butterflies in his stomach, unable to stop thinking about kissing Shikimori. Shikimori tells Nekozaki and Hachimitsu what happened. When she mentions it was just a kiss on the cheek, she explains that it was Izumi's effort to be sweet and make her feel better that made the kiss special. She promises to be more open-hearted like Izumi, which Hachimitsu and Nekozaki accept as long as they are happy. This wraps up Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie Season 1 recap. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching.